So the person goes, well, what's the point in delegating and then overruling? Why delegate in the first place? So one of the subjects that comes up on pretty much every leadership workshop that I run is empowerment. People often asking the question, well, how do I empower people? I'd love to be an empowering manager, but I'm just not sure how. I've empowered my people and I've been burnt so many times because of that empowerment. So how do I get it right? And very early in my leadership career, I heard a quote which has stuck with me through my whole life since, by an American baseball coach, a guy called Tommy Lasorda. And Tommy once said, management's like holding a dove. If you hold it too tightly, you kill it. If you hold it too loosely, it flies away. And I spent lots of Mozart time, which is my quiet time, time for myself, by myself, with myself, without technology or interruption, just me and my thoughts and my journal. And I'd think about this Tommy Lasorda quote, and I'd really think, well, what's Tommy trying to say? And the essence of it is that if you hold that dove too tightly, you're going to strangle it, you're going to kill it. And that's like micromanagement. You're going to get less and less discretionary effort because people, they don't feel empowered to do anything. But equally, if you hold it too loosely, then all these doves are just flying everywhere. So you can have highly empowered people, but they're all going in different directions, which clearly is no way to lead a team or to run a business. And one day, when I was talking to a really good friend of mine called Tom Nicholson, who had a career in Major League Baseball, I was telling him about this famous quote. Anyway, next time Tom went back to the States, when he returned, he bought me a baseball, which had been signed by the man himself. So this is my Hall of Fame baseball, signed by Tommy Lasorda, and it sits on my desk and it reminds me about empowerment and that Tommy Lasorda quote. It's also a brilliant thing about wowing your customers. I'm a fundamental believer in wow plus one service, and it's these little extras that go a million miles to really bind people to you. So I'm thinking about this quote and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to micromanage people, but equally I don't want all my doves flying off in different directions. So what do I do? So over the time, I developed my own empowerment model, and it goes like this. If you're going to empower people, you've got to create a framework, you've got to create a system. You've got to have some parameters to that empowerment. So first, I think about, well, what are real no-go areas? And I make it really clear to anyone and everyone on my team that these are areas that you don't step into. These are the no-goes. So you can't change the company name, you can't change the company brand, you can't change the company pricing policy, whatever it might be. They're no-goes. Equally, on the other side, there's what I call the plus ones. So these are the areas where people on my team and in my business, they have to refer to me as their one-up line manager, the plus one. If you're going to be clear about what people are empowered to do, you need to be equally clear about what they either need to refer to you as their line manager for sign-off, or that they're just not going to go into a particular territory. So that's what sits either side of the zone of empowerment. So what sits within it? And there are three key areas for me within this zone of empowerment. The first one is around delegation. So when you empower someone, you delegate to someone, it's really important you give them 51% of the vote. So what does that mean? That means that they can make the decision. Now, if you've got 51% of the vote, I've got 49. What does that mean? That means that I'm really, really interested. That means that I want us to have a conversation. But crucially, it means that you are still the decision maker. You've got that 51% of the vote. Now, the reason that is so important is that I've met so many people where the boss has delegated something, the individual has come up with their solution, and then the boss has gone, nah, that's not what I want at all. I want this. So the person goes, well, what's the point in delegating and then overruling? Why delegate in the first place? They actually never want to be delegated to again. So it's really important the person is empowered to make the decision. And as our relationship grows, your 51% becomes 55, 60, 65, 70. That's about our relationship. That's about our level of trust. The more we work together, the more I trust you, the higher the level that you've got. You've got 80%, I've got 20%. Ultimately, we really understand where it's just a tick and turn, or you just make the decision absolutely on your own because it's within that zone of empowerment. It's about your confidence, it's about your trust, it's about our relationship. The second part is red tape. Whenever you empower people and it's within this zone of empowerment, it's really important you do everything you possibly can to reduce the level of bureaucracy, to reduce the level of red tape. It's amazing the number of people I meet where they say, well, I've been empowered by the boss to do this, but now I need to spend every 5 minutes updating them. I have to send more reports, fill in more spreadsheets, go on more Zoom calls, whatever it might be. So if you're going to empower, set direction, check understanding, and then get out of the way. I think too many leaders get in the way and they just create levels of hierarchy and bureaucracy that slows everyone down and actually makes me feel less and less empowered. And the third area is around mistakes. Now again, we're talking within a zone of empowerment here. So we're not risking the farm because that would be a one-up sign-off or it'd be a no-go area. So within this zone of empowerment, it's really important we make mistakes safe. You want to create an environment, you want to create a culture, you want to create a tone that's conducive to people, first of all, bringing their best self to work, and secondly, having a go, taking action. And this is the area where if we are going to fail, we're going to fail fast, but we're going to learn. So we're going to do, learn, and move on. So those are the three things that sit within the zone of empowerment. The final thing I'd say in the arena of empowerment is I often get asked the question, I've got 10 people on my team, should I empower everyone to the same degree? And I'm very clear on this. For me, it's an absolute no. And I think the tendency is to say yes, because you want to be fair to everybody. So there's three reasons why I'm an absolute no. The first reason is back to the subject of trust. If I don't trust you, then your level of empowerment is going to be narrow. The more I trust you, the wider the level of empowerment, the wider the zone of empowerment becomes. The second thing is around your capability. I've hired you because you've got an amazing attitude. You're a brilliant person, you've got a fabulous energy, but you actually don't know anything as yet. So the zone of empowerment, again, is going to start fairly narrow, but as your confidence grows and your capability grows, it's going to widen and widen quickly. Because the last thing we want is to give you, we've just hired you, we give this huge zone of empowerment and you keep tripping yourself over because you don't yet know how the company works, how the system works, what our clients require, etc., etc. So we love your attitude, but we want to build those skills. As we build those skills, we stretch your zone of empowerment. So the first one is trust, the second one is capability, and the third one is actually some people, they don't want to be empowered. They come to work, they want to know the 5 things they've got to do, they do them to the best of their ability, and then they want to know the next 5 things, and the next 5 things, and the next 5 things. That's absolutely brilliant. Every team needs people like that. Every business needs people like that. If you want to become a truly empowered leader, there is a system for you. Get clear what's outside the zone of empowerment, get clear on what's within the zone of empowerment, and get clear on how much empowerment you are willing to give each and every member of your team. Why do I share these stories? I share these stories because I really want to add value to you. Whether you're a new leader, whether you're a relatively experienced leader, whether you've been in leadership for a long time, I really want to add value. I want to bring stories from my personal experiences. I want it to help you think about your own leadership journey. And if you take one thing from each story that we share, to me, that's absolutely fabulous. So if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.